Welcome back to NBA Today. So it's been 4 weeks to the day since the Timberwolves' Jaden McDaniels collided with Anthony Davis's left knee, resulting in a sprained MCL for Davis. And since then, he has missed 12 games. So for an update on Anthony Davis's status, let's bring in our Lakers beat reporter, Dave McMenamin. Hi, Dave. So where do things stand in Davis's return to the lineup for the Lakers?
Hey, Malika, good news for the Lakers in terms of Anthony Davis. He's officially going to be reevaluated by team doctors early next week, but I'm told that he was on the court today working out with a brace on his left knee and that his movement has been improving, his progress has been going well, and sources tell me that there's optimism within the team that he could be back playing in games as soon as the Lakers' upcoming long road trip at the end of the month. They call it the Grammys road trip. You could see the Lakers listening to some good music supplied by Anthony Davis's court game.
Well, and he cannot come back soon enough considering their loss to Sacramento. They clearly really need him, and you can see their upcoming road schedule. It doesn't get any easier for the Lakers from here. They need Anthony Davis back as soon as possible. Dave McMenamin.
I lean on. I stay locked in. I'm just in the position of trying to figure out the best way to play at the moment. I'll figure it out, and that's that. Make adjustments and figure out ways to be able to, just make a shot. That's it.
I mean, obviously, you put in the work and trust the work that you put into it. So, he's getting some really good looks. They're just not going down for him right now.
All right, I feel like this is deja vu. I'm going to ask the question that I've asked many, many times on this show, but I have a new strategy this time, Big Perk, okay? We've seen you have big lists. Do you have a big plan to fix Russell Westbrook's big issues here?
Absolutely, I do. And here it is, right? I know everybody has been praising LeBron James playing the center position, and it's been great for the offense. But look, move LeBron back to the point. And the reason that I say this is because Russell Westbrook hasn't been knocking down shots. He's been horrible. How about putting him in the pick and rolls and letting him actually roll to the basket, getting easy layups? Something like playing the center position on the offensive end. I watched Billy Donovan do it with Andre Roberson when they were in Oklahoma City. Andre Roberson couldn't shoot. He put him at the 5, let him roll, be a live threat, finish at the basket. Cool. Solve them problems with Russ taking those shots. Number 2, run it. Where's number 2? Here you go. In those bank shots that Russ are taking, the ones that hit in the shot clock.
Yeah, the wings.
Listen, the Lakers should put in place now that every time Russ shoots that shot, he gets fined. Take it out of the repertoire. It's not a good thing for the Lakers, and it's not a good thing for Russell Westbrook. Coming in at number 3, where's that? Run it, run it, run it, run it. More post-ups. More post-ups. Create switches where he get those smaller guards on him, and he's able to tomato chest him and punish him in the paint and get to those easy finishes around the basket.
Baby back.
Yeah, or get fouled and Russ make your free throws. That's the adjustments that you have to make. Yes, a lot of it is on Russ, but now it's on Frank Vogel to actually put him in position that he could be successful. Because if Russ is successful, the Lakers are more successful.
And to you, that's the recipe to make Russ as much of a bucket as LeBron James's hat. But do you think that that is the correct recipe, Chene?
I think so, because when LeBron James is playing the center, I know so.
Okay.
You're right. Let me stand. What do you say? 10 toes? Put 10 toes on it, right? Thank you. I think when you have LeBron James at the center, that is convenient because the NBA is primarily small ball, right? So he plays the center. You get more shooting, hopefully. But the reality is when he is setting screens, he's not dictating plays as much. And instead, it's Russell Westbrook. And yeah, it's great when he has 0 turnover games, but when he has 2 for 14 shooting nights, like when we saw yesterday, that is a problem. And you sort of are like, all right, like LeBron James is almost at the point where we say with KD, he can wake up and get a bucket. That's exactly what LeBron James has proven. 19 out of the 30 games that he has played this season, he's had at least 30 points. So at this point, you know he can wake up and get buckets, but more importantly, he needs to make the decisions for this team, which means moving back to point. I love his versatility. That's why we call him the first or one of the early point centers in positionless basketball. But the reality is that he's been best when he leads the squad.
Here's my thing with Russ. First of all, if you're going to play small ball, your team has to defend and allow Russ to get out in transition. The other thing, I like the post-ups. But I'm telling Russ, drive. Start, work your way inside out. Just like what do you tell shooters? Shooters shoot.
Yeah.
Well, he's a guy that penetrates. Continue to get into the paint, and work your way out. You know, don't settle. And I like the fact that if Russ can get out in transition, he sees some buckets, he gets free throws, he gets to feel good and feel better about himself. When you see the ball go in, we all know that. We see the ball go in, you feel better about your game. But defensively, you're not helping yourselves either. Yes, you're playing small ball, so you should be able to guard the ball. Where they're allowing everybody in their paint, so they're not getting out in transition, and they have to set up against half-court defenses every time. And when they set up against half-court defenses, guess what? They're not playing Russ, and they're making him shoot the three-point shot.
Right.
And so this is why I say, yes, LeBron at center helps them offensively, but it don't help them defensively because they don't have a rim protector.
Well, and then what happens when you're trying to work Anthony Davis back in?
Oh, well, you bring Anthony Davis back in.
Yeah.
See, what happened is, what's going on right now is that, I said this before last week or 2 weeks ago on this show, what LeBron James is really showing Anthony Davis is how to embrace the center position.
And they were getting stops, too.
Yeah, but embrace it, AD. Like, it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. And still in all, even if you do have Anthony Davis on the floor, you still could stretch him out because I don't believe that Anthony Davis is going to stay in his shooting slump for his three-point shots. We already know his 15-footer is automatic. But have Russ roll into the basket. Help Russ because we didn't came to the conclusion you're not going to be able to trade him. So now you got to figure out how can I get the best version of Russell Westbrook. And I ain't going to even lie. Right now, watching his interviews, listening to him, he looks broken. And now it's on the coaching staff and his teammates to help him.
Yeah, well, and we've seen LeBron James teams get better late in the season. We've seen them make that push. We've seen them overcome things that seemed.
Russ, and just everybody just, figuring out what their role is. What made it beautiful for the Bucks was that it was, once it came together, and you seen what happened with that.
Well, we need to hurry up and figure it out, and it needs to hurry up and come together, because otherwise, it's all for nothing, man. We're gonna be a laughing stock of the league in a minute.
Yo, Russell Westbrook is 0 of 15 from the three-point line over his last 6 games, man. And
he knows it too.
I got a crazy stat for you. Defenders are averaging their space between him and defenders of 8.3 feet. So people are sitting in the lane while my man's on the three-point line saying, go ahead, shoot it. So what does that do? That clogs the lane for LeBron James. Look, they have some real issues they need to figure out around Russ. And I know you're always going to say, Max,
yes,
you're lying. Don't worry. Russ always figures it out.
I'm worried.
And I'm going to tell you, Max, I don't know because Russ has never won a championship. So you tell me he's going to figure it out, but that's never him figuring it out has never led to him winning a championship.
Totally legit what you're saying. What I'm saying is this. When the playoff starts, a separate issue, we'll see. Like, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 4 times, shame on me. This is the 4th straight year. Just go back to what you were thinking in the first half of 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. He was terrible. Russell Westbrook was a losing player in the first half. In the second half, always with new teammates, always with new team, he caught fire. Let him figure it out.
I know you're doubling down.
I am. I'm tripling down.
This is not Kansas City's defense. Like, you won that argument. I hear you, but this is something different. And do you think of the Lakers as tough or more soft?
They're not tough yet.
Okay.
They're not tough yet, but give them time. Like,
where's AD? How much time do we need?
Well, you know what that is.
Well, the question was that you got AD because LeBron's getting older, and he was going to be that. So, like, there's things that you're starting to say, hey, there's history here.
We're starting to look at. We got a lot of issues that we need to fix. Westbrook is one of them, and there's more issues other than Westbrook.
You think the Suns are a pretty good team?
Yeah, I think they're.
I will remind you that last year, coming off a finals where either LeBron or AD could have been finals MVP because they won the championship, the Lakers were clearly better than the Suns in the playoffs until injury took its toll and they weren't really the Lakers anymore. Yeah. Suns beat them. Otherwise, Lakers would have beaten them.
Where does this team rank defensively?
I get it, but
I know, I hear it, but you know why on that team? Because they had
Alex
Caruso.
That's real.
And
that's real.
And KCP.
That's real.
You had 2 lockdown wing defenders. You don't really have that now.
You're right. I can't argue with that. I'm just saying.
And some would say they missing Jason Kidd, believe it or not.
You jumping ship, Key? Yes or no on the Lakers right now?
I'm never gonna jump ship.
No, but
I'm just mad.
I don't mean as a fan. I'm saying, are you giving up hope?
No, never.
Me neither.
Never. I ain't gonna never do that.
Can you imagine a separation of 8.3 feet?
Yeah, he's gonna make him pay for that. Westbrook's gonna make him pay for that.
Key. You're a professional.
You
You
knock
making
it down though. You give me that space, I'm gonna hit it on you.
All right. Ben
my
Simmons'
dream.
agent. Speaking of guys who people give 8.3 feet to, Ben Simmons' agent met with the 76ers.
What a transition.
But the sides are no closer to a resolution with the NBA trade deadline a month away. Ben Simmons' agent, Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul, met with 76ers president of basketball operations Daryl Morey, general manager Elton Brand on Wednesday. Sources told ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. Here's Woj on SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt.
Philadelphia continues to be content to wait. And, their philosophy all along has been, if we get a trade package back that doesn't make us a championship contender, doesn't get us back to that level that we felt we were with Ben Simmons, we're not doing it. And so I think even with a month left to the deadline, there's a real chance this goes on beyond the deadline.
Oh, it's going to go on beyond the deadline. Daryl Morey ain't budging here. And I don't know what team. I mean, people throw out there the Chicago Bulls, and I'm like, I don't see the Bulls trying to give up Patrick Williams or Kobe White. And is that even enough? Like, you're not going to throw DeMar DeRozan in that package for Ben Simmons. Like, that's going backwards for the Bulls, not going forward. Like, are you looking at the team like the Spurs? They have young assets, but I don't know if Daryl Morey's going to see those assets as championship contending assets. It goes back to, you talk about what's happening with the Portland Trailblazers, but, then you got a lot of their team is hurt. So I think it's going to be a situation where they're going to be stuck.
Why would the Bulls entertain Ben Simmons?
Just people were throwing it out there.
Put him in a dunker spot.
They got Ball. He's there. So what do you need him for?
I could understand. Would be the logic. Patrick Williams is done for the year.
And if he's saying he needs championship caliber players back.
Right. That's the key. But if they could, because Patrick Williams is a guy who could potentially in his career be a real difference maker. It's very early in his career, still developing, now out for the year with an injury. So if you take him, if that's enough, and you could add Kobe White and get back Ben Simmons, very few players are ever going to be as good as Ben Simmons is right now for all his shooting problems. So now the Bulls have Simmons in the dunker spot because it's Lonzo's ball, right? Like he is the point guard. And now Simmons gives you great defense, which you're going to need against Brooklyn and KD. You have got a guy to put on someone. He gives you incredible passing, right? And in the dunker spot, you don't have to worry about his lack of shooting as much. I get the logic. I understand the logic of it. Neither one of you do?
Not really. No. I mean, I don't.
Well, I tried my
kind of like Austin Rivers said the other day. It's like Ben Simmons' career in Philadelphia is over. Yeah. And I think one of the things that are happening, like Cleveland was a team that people were talking about. Like if you're JB Bickerstaff right now, you're Cleveland, you see what position they're in the East. Like I'm not trying to change up the chemistry of that team.